Live breaking news, my fellow Americans. This is not a drill. President Joe Biden has just approved long range U.S. supplied weapons to Ukraine for use against Russia striking targets inside the Russian state. This is absolutely unprecedented escalation. Joe Biden has less than 2 months left in his presidency. And this is extremely bizarre. And now France and UK Prime Minister have also conceded and agreed, and they support this decision. My fellow Americans, this is nothing short than a catastrophic ploy to undermine President Trump and the mandate that was set on November 5th. The American people have spoken. The American people are vehemently opposed to this. That is the reason why Kamala lost in a landslide. That's the reason why we have the House. It's the reason why we have the Senate. This is alarmingly dangerous. And seemingly he did this all the while inside the Amazon rainforest. Watch this strange cryptic video, perfect meme material that has gone viral across the internet as Biden announces this and then strangely, creepily, ominously recedes into the Amazon forest. Watch this. Later, Joe. Where are you going, Joe? Very strange, very bizarre. I don't even know why President Biden is even let outside anymore. He's obviously still suffering from serious throes of dementia and mental acuity issues. I just don't get it. You've got 2 months left. Just relax. You've been at the beach for the last 6 months. Why all of a sudden now are you making these catastrophic, consequential decisions? I want to share this very important video of Putin back in September and what he said if the U.S. and other proxy nations helped Ukraine to launch long-range missiles inside of Russia. Watch this.
Дни мы видим и слышим, как на очень высоком уровне Великобритании и США муссируется тема о том, что киевский режим сможет наносить удар в территорию России западными вооружениями большой дальности. И, судя по всему, это решение либо вот-вот будет принято, либо, судя по всему, вообще уже принято. И эта вещь, конечно, экстраординарная. Хотелось попросить прокомментировать то, что происходит.
Происходит попытка подмены понятий, потому что речь не идет о разрешении или запрете киевскому режиму наносить удары по российской территории. Он и так наносит с помощью беспилотных летательных аппаратов и другими средствами, но когда речь идет об использовании высокоточного оружия большой дальности западного производства, это совершенно другая история. Дело в том, что я уже об этом говорил, и любые эксперты это подтвердят, и у нас, и на Западе, наносить удары современными высокоточными системами большой дальности западного производства украинская армия не в состоянии. Она не может этого делать. Это возможно только с использованием разведданных со спутников, которыми Украина не располагает. Это данные только со спутников Евросоюза, либо на Соединенных Штатах, в общем, с натовских спутников. Это первое. Второе, и очень важное, может быть, ключевое, заключается в том, что полетные задания в эти ракетные системы могут, по сути, вносить только военнослужащие стран НАТО. Украинские военнослужащие делать это не могут. И поэтому речь идет не о том, чтобы разрешать украинскому режиму наносить удары по России этим оружием или не разрешать. Речь идет о том, чтобы принять решение о том, что страны НАТО напрямую участвуют в военном конфликте или нет. Если это решение будет принято, это будет означать не что иное, как прямое участие стран НАТО, Соединенных Штатов, европейских стран в войне на Украине. Это их прямое участие. И это уже, конечно, существенным образом меняет саму суть, саму природу конфликта. это будет означать, что страны НАТО, США, европейские страны воюют с Россией. А если это так, то, имея в виду изменение самой сути этого конфликта, мы будем принимать соответствующие решения, исходя из тех угроз, которые нам будут создаваться.
Those are extremely harsh words, my fellow Americans in As Nation. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is a very scary, precarious, highly volatile situation that we find ourselves in right now. And I don't know. I mean, I don't see any logic. I don't see any justifiable reason for this level of escalation when Biden has literally 2 months left. The American people have spoken. We don't want these forever wars. We're sick and tired of America last. We are ready for America first, which is why the mandate was set on November 5th, just recently, with a landslide victory in the exact opposite direction of these warmongering heathens. I have more for you, though. And and just to touch up on what Putin said, I believe every word of what Putin says. I don't think Putin is a guy you want to mess with, especially with a feeble vegetable in chief that we have right now. This has been a very, very, lack of a better word, it's been a pussy war by the United States. We have not had the balls, the gumption, the strength, the conviction to actually say we're at war with Russia. We've just been slowly, sneakily, like some kind of low-level snake behind the scenes, been supplying tons of our taxpayer money, tons of weapons to Ukraine and Zelensky. God knows where that stuff is going. I don't see any more. Do you see any more war footage? Because I don't. We saw a lot of it in 2022. I don't see any war footage. You know what I do see? I see a lot of Ukrainians with yachts. I see beautiful, safe metropolitan areas and business squares, etc. I don't see any war footage. I don't see any of that heart-wrenching, CNN coverage or what have you of children and Ukrainians being bombed and blasted every single. I don't see any of it. And we already know that Putin has initiated talks with President-elect Trump. Again, the people have spoken. We want him, obviously, in a landslide decision. There's already been conversations had between President-elect Trump and Putin, which are already initiating peace talks. That is very, very well-versed and researched information and intelligence that is absolutely concretely true. What in the world is Joe Biden doing? Why? Why are you doing this? There's no other way to identify this, my fellow Americans, than absolute warmongering and a last bitter, feeble attempt at Biden to do God knows what. He's defying the American people. We know that. But I don't know. Is he trying to save his legacy? Is he trying to have one last hurrah, one way of saying I have a resounding victory, a resounding W on the way out? It doesn't make an ounce of sense. Listen to what Putin said in response to this. Check this out.
In the updated version of the document, aggression against Russia by any non-nuclear state, but with the support of a nuclear state, is proposed to be considered as their joint attack on Russia. Russia will also consider the possibility of using nuclear weapons when receiving reliable information about a massive launch of means of aerospace attack and their crossing of our state border. This includes strategic and tactical aircraft, as well as cruise missiles and drones, hypersonic and other delivery vehicles. Russia reserves the right to use nuclear weapons in case of aggression, including if the enemy, using conventional weapons, poses a critical threat.
It is important to note at this point that these are at this time proposals to amend Russia's nuclear weapons use doctrine. We heard from Vladimir Putin multiple scenarios in which the rules and regulations governing how Russia can use its nuclear weapons will change. The first scenario is if a non-nuclear power attacks Russia with conventional arms but poses a grave or critical threat to Russia's sovereignty, the Russian leadership will be able to use nuclear weapons to neutralize that threat. The second scenario and how things will change is if that non-nuclear power that is attacking Russia is aided, supplied, abetted by a nuclear power, then that nuclear power will be considered a party to this conflict. So a joint attack on Russia, which will mean Russia will be able to use nuclear weapons both on the non-nuclear power and the nuclear power that it'll consider attacking it. Also, Russia will be able to use, preemptively perhaps use, nuclear weapons if there is verified information, proof that there is an ongoing attack on Russia using aerospace assets, or, for example, a mass launch of drones. Again, I must mention that these are, at this time, are proposals on how Russia's first use of nuclear weapons, its nuclear doctrine, will change. Nevertheless, this is a stark warning to the West, the latest in a slew of such. Previously, Vladimir Putin had come out and said that if advanced Western missiles with great ranges are supplied to Ukraine and used against Russia for strikes deep into Russian territory, then those countries, the United States perhaps, or Great Britain or France, which supply Ukraine with extended range missiles, that they will be complicit in an attack on Russia. Russia has brushed off their arguments that they merely hand these weapons over. Russia says it has evidence, and there is no way that Ukraine can plan, launch, and use these weapons without without NATO troops being involved, without NATO technical staff being involved, without NATO intelligence and NATO satellites being involved. But this comes at a dangerous time, at a time when many Western leaders are saying, ignore Putin and Russia's warnings, supply Ukraine with these missiles, and undoubtedly, even though they won't change anything, undoubtedly, Ukraine, they believe, will be able to resist Russia further. An argument that both military experts and the Russian government have said is in itself senseless.
Maybe it's time to invoke the 25th. I don't know. I mean, they were talking about that some time ago. I believe even pushing up Daisy's Pelosi threatened Joe Biden with that because he was refusing to stand down when they basically executed a coup on a sitting president. He clawed and scratched. He did not want to leave the race, not by a long shot. I'm still convinced that President Biden voted for Donald Trump. I never saw a happier man when he welcomed Donald Trump to the Oval Office. But this is getting out of control. He's going to leave Trump literally with the most catastrophic global geopolitical landscape in the last 100 years. This is really, really scary stuff. And I hope to God that Congress or somebody can inject some reason, some logic into this. This needs to stop. I take Putin for his word. I don't think he's a guy that minces words. He usually follows through with what he's going to say. And he has said, if you watch those videos, he has said conclusively, if you do this, if you launch missiles into Russia, these long-range missiles, which Ukraine has zero aptitude for, they definitely need their satellite help from NATO, France, UK, and United States more specifically, that this is a charge that will be responded with fury and nuclear missiles, not just to Ukraine, but to the actual people behind Ukraine's fortification. This is not good. It's definitely not good. I really look forward to hearing what your thoughts are on this. Let me know in the comments down below. Stay tuned as I'm going to keep you up to date on everything. I would love to get your thoughts. As always, check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. Tap my face over here to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the United States of America.